Hi, and welcome to the video course for CompTIA's A+ exam. This is going to be the video course to prepare you for the 801 version of this exam. My name is Patrick Lohner. I'll be your instructor on this course. I'm going to start with just a little bit about my background. I've been in the IT industry for 15 years. Got my start, just like a lot of you, studying and preparing and taking the A+ certification exam. I jumped right into a training position, which was a unique way of doing things, but for the first several years I was able to train on several Microsoft products as well as get my hands dirty really in help desk type of scenarios, support scenarios. I was the network admin for the training center that I worked at for several years. From there I went on to sort of a consulting agency. It was an agency that worked with smaller businesses. We would go out and help them in projects to upgrade systems. Done a lot of work with Windows servers, Microsoft Exchange messaging system, et cetera, et cetera. But we were also really the help desk for those small businesses. Some of them didn't have IT people, and so we would go out and troubleshoot issues. And so as you might imagine, that was for really the first 7 years of my career, and I was working a lot hands-on. A lot of classroom training as well, but a lot of hands-on, including going out into different types of environments, different size environments that I really wasn't familiar with, and trying to troubleshoot problems. And as you might imagine, that really goes a long way when it comes to the topics that are going to be discussed in this course. With the A+ certification exam and the skills that it's testing, we're dealing with a lot of hands-on types of things. So that's a little bit about me, but let's get to the objectives of the course. Of course, the main objective is to prepare you, to help you pass the 801 exam. The 801 exam deals with some specific objectives, and then the 802 with some different objectives, but all collectively related to help you become an A+ technician or a help desk service technician out there in the field. So we're going to start with just an intro to personal computers, the hardware. We'll also start with a little bit of an intro to IT certifications. I've been doing this for 15 years. I have a whole slew of certifications because I've been doing it for that long. So I'd like to give you, just some information on where you might go from here, how you can use this certification and then potentially pursue other certifications down the line. And then we'll start getting into the meat, the internal hardware components. Of course, we've got a lot of those: CPUs, the processor, the memory, the storage, and various other elements of the personal computer. We'll get into the fundamentals of hard drives and storage and how those all function. We'll talk about expanding the capabilities of the personal computer through expansion buses and expansion cards. This is to add on to what is already there. Now, today's computers are very highly capable of doing just about anything you want them to do, but there still are going to be certain cases where the computer doesn't have exactly what I need it to have. And so in that scenario, we need to understand how to add on to the system. That'll take us right into working with peripheral devices. Those are the actual devices that plug into the expansion cards. Portable computers we'll deal with, not necessarily a lot of mobile devices, but specifically laptops. CompTIA has divided the objectives between the 801 and 802. So here we're dealing specifically with laptops. What kind of parts do they have? How do they differ from their desktop counterpart? Those kinds of things. And then we'll spend a good amount of time dealing with networking. We call it just network fundamentals, but it really is going to occupy a large portion of the A+ exam, the 801 objectives. And so we need to understand what a network is, what are the various components, how do we interact with it, what do I need to know in order to implement and troubleshoot. All of those things are going to be very important. So that's a quick rundown of the objectives, certainly not exhaustive in all of the things that we're going to talk about throughout this video course, but that's enough to get us started. So once again, my name's Patrick Lohner. It's my pleasure to be your instructor on this course. Let's get started.